Well, you may recognize my next guest either from the Veggie Table on Omni Channel or from the movie Water. With me today is owner of Ronica Cooks, Ronica Sajnani. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Very excited to have you here. So you've got a lot going on and a lot on your table actually.
Well, a few things. You know how it is. You kind of try and juggle all these balls. Some fall in your lap and some don't. And that's just the way it goes.
Exactly. Now, you actually have divans, correct?
Divans,
and you host
yes.
divans. Now, first of all,
Yes.
share with us what a divan is.
Well, it's a term which is actually still in use in India. In the political system, there is the equivalent of a lower house and a high, like in Parliament, a higher house,
Okay.
House of Lords and a House of Commons. And in
Okay.
India, it's called Divan-e-Khas and Divan-e-Aam, which is what came from the Mughal times, where
Okay.
people met. Then, I don't know if you know, there was an explorer, Richard Burton from England, who came to India several centuries ago. And what he started was, it's also kind of like a sheaf of paper. And when he went back to London, enjoyed the Pakistan, which is now Pakistan, but India so much that he started divans, where he would invite his friends who were poets and musicians, and they would get together. So it's more like a
Social.
Social, yes.
Right.
It's the equivalent of a salon.
Right. And what I love what you do is you actually gather a bunch of different people at your home.
Yes.
Right, in Cabbagetown, and you have these divans, and sometimes you'll invite speakers or musicians or whatever, correct?
Yes, yes. And
it's-
sometimes it's just, 8 of us, and it can sometimes be a little challenging because not everybody always gets along.
Oh,
it's quite nice,
it sounds
actually.
like family, actually. It sounds like a family dinner.
It is much like Christmas in some places, I'm sure.
Now, what are we going to be? You brought some, these spices in the studio are going just wonderful. So what are we making today?
We're making beans aloo, which is basically green beans and potatoes.
Okay.
It's very simple.
Okay. And is this something you would serve at a divan?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
It's also really tasty and used in different ways. But the main ingredient is the Indian 5-spice, which is a very Bengali mix, which is equal portions of all seeds, cumin,
Okay.
fennel, fenugreek, nigella, and mustard seeds.
Oh, wow. And so can you buy this like this? Or
You
is
can
it,
actually buy it, and
Okay.
of course you can make it because it's equal portions of each of the seeds.
So you'd have all these seeds and you just pop it all in. Okay.
Yeah. So,
right.
and I'm going to use some grated coconut, which is a very typically South Indian thing to do, but I'm going to mix it up, whatever.
Yeah, because that's your thing, right? You take
Yes.
traditional dishes and actually mix it up.
Do things a little differently, but yes, yes. I did take the liberty of cutting the beans before because they can be painstaking because you don't have to cut them this small.
Okay.
You can have them in inch. They just take longer to cook, that's all. But I like it
But you like
this.
that in that
I
sort of
like-
size and just dice it that size.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I don't need to kind of put any water. I don't use too many extra things.
Okay.
So
And then what is this?
this is whole red chilies.
Oh, wow. Oh, so it's going to be spicy.
It's going to be spicy.
Okay.
And I'll take this little top off. The thing with chilies is if you don't actually use the seeds,
Right.
it's not that spicy.
It's the seed that
The
makes it
seed is what makes it spicy. And the same thing with green chilies. If you actually take out the core and the seeds, you kind of get the flavor without the intense heat.
Okay.
But it's a great source of vitamin C.
Oh, okay.
Green chilies is.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
perfect.
Okay, so...
Now you've also got an onion and a potato.
Well, I do. And neither of these is actually essential to making this dish. You don't need it.
But if it's called green bean and potato, you have to have a potato.
That's why I brought the potato. That's right. It could be called just green beans. So, yes, I'm going to go ahead as we are chatting, and you
Okay.
can chat with me as I cut this.
Okay,
And
perfect.
peel it. And
Okay, now I'm dying to ask one thing.
Yes.
Water. So working with Deepa Mehta, what was that like?
well, Deepa is actually wonderful. As long as you do what she asks, and usually.
My producer here is exactly the same way.
Well, it must be this, yeah. when you make when you have a good show or you do something well, I guess you don't actually take very well to other, I guess, opinions, and usually it works out well.
Well, I have to say, like the end result was spectacular, right?
Yeah.
I found the movie spectacular.
It was actually also an incredibly wonderful experience because I don't know if you know the history, but initially we were in Banaras in India to film the movie. It was 4 years before that.
Oh wow!
And we only shot one day and were shut down.
You were shut down. That's right. I read that.
They burnt the sets, and we had to, and we quit. We came back. Deepa came back. She made Bollywood Hollywood, in which I had a part, and then we reshot in Sri Lanka.
Right.
So,
because they couldn't shoot.
Yes,
Now, why were they stopping it? Because they didn't want that story to be told.
It was political.
Yeah.
It was all political. Not that there's anything untrue about it. It's just that it's not exactly a part of your history that
they want to share with the world. Okay.
Yeah. And to a certain extent, in certain parts of India, it is still prevalent because.
Now, I talked about the young, it speaks about the young widows, right? It speaks about the young girls getting married and being, moved forward to get married at very young ages, like 8, 9, 10 years old. But it had so many different meanings, that movie.
Well, the thing about it is, the biggest meaning for the movie was about the plight of widows and the conservative thinking that when you are made a widow, it is the woman who has brought
shame.
Bad luck
and shame to
bad luck.
Bad luck, yeah.
And that's why you're kind of cast aside, and that's why you don't get married again.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Like such young, like 10-year-olds that are widows. They're sent to homes widow homes. Yeah. Anyway. Let's start with something a little more perky and fun. So we're cutting up our potatoes, and you're cutting them up in
small dice.
Okay.
It's actually smaller than you would, and it's only because this thing is heating up quite nicely. All right, so we should start the cooking, shouldn't we?
There you go. Yes.
All right. First of all, I'm going to put in the green chilies.
Okay.
I'm sorry, the red chilies, dried. There are lots of different ways to make it. You don't have to use potatoes or even onions. You don't have to use the green chilies. You can use this. Is really, really fragrant, as you will smell.
Okay.
It's used a lot in Bengal. It's used in fish. And if you use just this.
It's like popcorn.
Yeah, it pops.
It does pop.
Yeah.
We've got about a minute left, and then we're going to go to break.
All right.
What can we get done
What can we get done? I am going to put the onions in.
Okay.
Now, the thing with this dish is you can also throw everything in at the same time.
Oh, that's convenient.
Too low, and
that is convenient.
And leave.
And leave.
Well, not for too long.
Now, how long would it typically take for something like this?
You know what I do? I actually turn this on, put it on. Doesn't take long, but 5 or 10 minutes. And
oh yeah, the smells are like incredible.
So usually you should put the potato on first.
Right, because that takes the longest.
Exactly. Right. What I was going to say is
we'll catch up right when we come back from break.
That's good.
We'll have more with Ronica when we return. Well, we're back with the owner of Ronica Cooks, Ronica Sajnani, and we have put all of our ingredients in the frying pan. And
just add a little salt while you continue.
Now, is that just regular salt, or is you like?
I use sea salt.
Sea salt.
It doesn't have iodine in it, and it's not quite as salty either.
Okay.
So. Yeah.
Now, normally you're not here at this time of the year. You're usually in Buenos Aires.
No, I'm usually cooking in Buenos Aires and doing tango. I'm really missing it this year, let me tell you.
I bet you are. But that's because you also were working on a play.
Yes. Yes, it was part of the Next Stage Festival at Factory, and We finished shooting about, not shooting, sorry, I'm getting it all mixed up. It was on for 10 days at the beginning of January.
Nice. That's nice. And you know what? Who needs Buenos Aires when you've got our weather as well, right?
Exactly.
It's been perfect.
Well, I was going to say they're grumbling about their heat because it's over 35 degrees.
Poor babies.
I know.
Poor babies.
Cannot feel sorry for them.
Poor babies. So,
Anyway.
Yeah, so the other thing is, so the divans, if people want to come to one of the divans, how would they get in touch with you?
I'm on the web. I have a website. It's
Okay.
ronicacooks.com.
Okay.
On the divans, I usually post dates a month in advance. So the dates for March are already up. And
Perfect.
the phone number, contact information, everything.
Okay, perfect, perfect. Well, thank you very much. I'm going to try it. So this is the end product?
Yes. Let me just put some of this grated coconut on and you try it.
Okay.
Let me see.
It's fantastic. Thank you so much for coming.
You're very welcome.
You're such a pleasure. Now I'm going to have green teeth. For more information, go to ronicacooks.com.